What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a couple of stocks and a index ETF. We're going to talk about PLTR for Diesel Killer, WGMI for DB, and Tesla for DB. Let's get into it. That's the order that it was given. That's the order that we're going through it. So looking at PLTR, you are in somewhat of a broadening top pattern so far. The RSI does look like you'd want to go down. I would think that you do want to go down. Positive earnings. I remember you saying, yeah, pretty positive. Not bad. I think you go lower still, though, man. I mean, to be fair, let's see. Positive earnings here. You went up for a couple days, and then you went down, and you were stagnant for a while. Positive earnings here, and you did go up for a solid bit, right? Negative earnings here, you went down a little bit, but then moved sideways and then moved up. I mean, earnings don't really matter. I mean, like they matter, but like there's a reason why people say don't trade based off of earnings, because you never know. Just because it's positive doesn't mean the price is going to go up. And I mean, we had good earnings today, and the price still went down. It's a lower high in this trend that, like, momentarily it looks like a downtrend, but you're kind of in, again, you're in this like broadening wedge. It's a neutral daily RSI. It's not really giving me much. And I'm not a big fan of the weekly RSI, but what I am a fan of is you have lower lows and higher highs. That is hidden bullish divergence. I don't like this bearish divergence that you've concocted here and rejecting the overbought zone. You had this bullish trend that you definitely have broken out of, and you rejected the 50. There are a lot of bad things with the weekly RSI, but to be fair, you haven't officially rejected this 50 until the week closes. So if this week, being down 1.76% right now, if this week can close green, which it seems like after earnings, you do like to, if it's a good earnings, you do like to move up for the corresponding day. So if this week can close green, maybe you do make your way up. Maybe you are making your way to a new high, relatively speaking. And you might see prices at $24 to $27. Maybe. Maybe you've got three bearish drives pattern kind of coming in, and you've yet to see your third drive. Oh, you didn't even hit your 1272 there, though. That's not encouraging. And you're rejecting your 6. There's so many conflicting things in this chart, man. I really don't know. Oh, man, I feel like I gotta pop my neck, but I can't. That's okay, though. They say you shouldn't pop your own neck. It's because they want you to go to them, whoever they are, to do it and pay them for it. I would think you go lower. I would. Volume's declining. The RSI on the monthly and the weekly just look like it wants to go lower. The daily isn't giving us much, but neither are the lower time frames. The 1 hour doesn't look bad. Let's see how this week closes. If the week closes green, different story. Probably going to see a higher high, if not some form of a lower high or a double top, but nonetheless pretty significantly higher than it is now. If not, if this week closes red, or you break this kind of like trend that you have established right now, something like that, if you get below, I suppose this week, if you get below $16.20, you drop about 50 cents from here at all this week. If you go to $16.20 and you bounce there, cool. But if you go lower than that, especially if you break 16, then I would think that it's on to the downside. And you're probably, what you're in really would be some kind of like grand like M pattern down, and then we'd be talking about prices down to $12 to $11 to $10 even, or lower. So let's see how this week closes. Diesel Killer, hit me up with this request on Friday. Let's see how this week closes. I don't have, it's a bit of a head scratcher. I don't have enough really to make a decisive opinion on it. If I had to guess, I personally do think it wants to go down from here. But off of the past few earnings, whenever it has good earnings, it does go up the following days. And we're tomorrow and the next day and the next day are going to be the following days after the earnings announcement, which was a positive earnings announcement. So maybe this week does close green. That's why I'm having a hard time here. There are bearish things. There's severely bearish things with the RSI and the weekly and the monthly. The daily's not really saying much, so there's a little hope there, it is holding higher lows and it has higher highs as of like right now, but this could be some kind of consolidation distribution like area where you're getting ready to move down again. You kind of have this like grand like accumulation zone here, moved up. It's very common to see these kind of things go like this, up, and then back down and then out, stuff like that. I'm not saying this thing's condemned to go down forever, but technically on a macro scale you are like in somewhat of a downward channel look as of right now. But in the more immediate terms speaking, just hit me with a request on this at the end of the week. We'll probably get some clarity. WGMI, I want to say WAGMI, Valkyrie Bitcoin ETF here. I thought it was an index ETF. I'm not all so it's actually an ETF. It's not a index ETF. My bad. Also kind of a similar look with this one, right? Though this one I'm a little bit more confident is an M pattern. I think it wants to go lower. You hit your 618, you rejected your 0.5. You're likely going to go, let's see how this week closes, but if you close below the 618, which right now you are below it, and I think you will, then likely you won't stop at the 786, 886 area. You will probably go to your 1272 to the 1618 area, which would mean that this thing is going to be earmarked for about $4.60 to $6.50, somewhere in that territory. That's my genuine opinion. I don't think you're going to hold this as a higher low. You could, but I would think you're going to go lower. Especially with how a lot of the miners look right now, I think you would go lower. If this is a miners ETF, I don't know what miners it involves. Does it tell us? Nope. Invests in companies that derive 50% of their income from mining Bitcoin. Doesn't say. Okay, anyways, maybe it does say and I just missed it, but lower nonetheless is where I think it's going. Genuinely, I do. Yes, I do. Rejected off the 50, yeah, it looks like it wants to go lower. This kind of looks like a lot of mining stocks right now, which makes sense if it's a mining stock ETF. Tesla. Let's finish this up with Tesla. Tesla, NASDAQ. It went lower. Wouldn't you know it, man? Oh, I love technical analysis. You guys remember? I remember when we were up here. I was saying we'd probably take out that low. Oh, yep. I remember. Hit that 1272 perfectly. A little bit through it, sure. Could you go lower? Sure. But I'm genuinely expecting that you hold that. You probably move up from here. Look at that. A little bit of a bouncy poo right off of your oversold zone. If you close the week here, like lower than this but not too much lower, you could have bullish divergence and bounce off, like literally tip the oversold zone right here, not just in it, but either way I kind of like this for a low. Let's look at this on kind of a more macro basis. Hit that 0.5, huh? Not too common. Based off of fibs and like what's normal with fibs, I would think you see the 61869, but maybe more immediately you go up. Let me see real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oof. Maybe you're getting ready to move up and break out to the upside, man. That doesn't really agree with some theories that I have for Tesla right now. The daily RSI looks weak. You're in a position where you could turn around. You do have bullish divergence, yes. Oh, it does look weak, though. I'm just trying to find something real quick. I mean, like, look, you had like this. You even had bullish divergence right here. Very similar candle, right? Look at just look at this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, down, right? I'm gonna draw this. Just pay attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Okay, 5. You see it? I just counted it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna delete it. You have this candle here. I'm covering it up, sorry. It's because of the magnet. I'm going to take the magnet off. You have that candle right there, this one right here. Look at that. It closed right here, and that right there was a little bit lower than this candle that closed right there. It closed a little bit lower, but the RSI temporarily was oversold, and then it came up, and it looked like from there where it closed was right on the oversold zone, like, and it had this higher low in the RSI, lower low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to current times, okay, current times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similar looking candle. Oversold. Oh, but this was on the weekly, right? That was on the weekly. Oversold. Okay, so different. I thought it was on the daily, but still, man, I don't know. You could really drop ass from here. You really could. Oh, but look at this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, man, why can't you be easy, Tesla? You're supposed to end the video and be easy for me. I think you find support here. I think you go up to about 240, about there, and then you probably go back down. I think that. That's my genuine opinion. I'm going to put my magnet back on. And if not, you're going to drop ass all the way down to 153, 142, man. Like, fast. If you don't hold support here. Being that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 broadening top, when you come up, you have a solid chance to break out. But to me, I would expect that Tesla, like, if it breaks out, that would put you in gear for potentially reaching for all-time highs. Not new all-time highs, but your past ones, your current ones. And then that would put you in gear for potentially reaching out to new ones. And I just don't see you doing that like this year. But you could. Who cares what I think? You absolutely could. This is a good one, man. It was so much easier to say it was going down a month ago. It was so much easier. I'm having a hard time now, though. Let's look at the news. let's look at the news. Let's see. Threatens to kill Elon Musk, President Biden. I'm not really getting it consistently one way or another. Tesla stock fall. Why does it say that? That is so bright. He correctly predicted in January that Tesla stock would fall. Yeah, it wasn't hard, bro. Lower highs, lower lows. No offense. I hate that. Good job. You made the right call, right? Good job. Tesla is the EV sales leader, but growth is slowed. It's just like a natural thing, man. For some reason in like markets, like whenever I hear of a new trader, I'm sure it's the same way with people who found this channel who actually do TA themselves too. Like the first time you hear someone doing it, you're like, okay, man, but like, what do you know? Like it's like this attitude, man. I don't know how to explain it. If you're a trader, you're an investor, you know what I'm talking about. But sometimes you got to check yourself and be like, okay, hold on. Maybe they know what they're talking about, I hate the media. Really, it's not about this guy they're talking about, it's the media. So it sounds like he's calling for it to go up. The guy that called for it to go down is calling for it to go up. I'm kind of with that just because of the way the price looks. Let's get rid of that bright white screen, man. My eyes were bleeding there. you look like you're in the area that you would bounce. So assuming you kind of hold this trend, maybe you do come back up here. But being that this is your fifth, man, if you do come up, I'm inclined to believe that you're going to go above that high there. Not only that, but you're finding, that's not really, I mean, the only significance that low has really is that it comes in line kind of with these lows here too. Right? And really on a daily closing basis, actually, you close like right at those lows. So that's a good look in itself. Not a lot of volume on the weekly though. Decent volume, above average. Relative average at least. Bullish divergence on the daily. Okay, I'm just going to end it with that, man. I think it's going up. I think at least to 230 to 240, 235 to 240, somewhere in that area from here. Probably over the whole month of February, you're probably going to work your way up. It won't be like immediately, but more or less it's going to be pretty quick, right? Like this, let's see, that low was August 18th. The high, relatively speaking, was September 12th, so less than a month. I guess actually this was the high. That was September 15th, so a little bit less than a month. You found your low here, October 31st. You found your high here, December 28th, so that was like 2 months, essentially. I would think with this dramatic drop-off, I think it'd be a little quicker than 2 months, but sometime at the end of February, if not sometime in March, you'll probably move up to that $35 to $40 area. And if you can take out this high, then it is on Tesla. It is on to like 346 to 420, man, which would be crazy. If not, if you go too much lower, man, I'm afraid I would think that you would at least play out your 1618, relatively speaking, which from low to high would take you to 160. And if you go down there, I can't help but think that you would go lower because you're in this broadening top pattern, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I keep drawing it. 5. That wasn't even completely proper, but because technically it should have been drawn up higher. But whatever. If you broke out, you would go down to like $100, because that's how you measure these things. You take it from like the top to the bottom, and then whenever you break it, come on now, whenever you break it, that measure move, this isn't like the time, this is just the length, that would take you to about $100 to $110. So you better hope you don't break this thing to the downside, right? Which, I mean, you really could. You really could. Let's see how the week closes. Close above 187, 188, and we could talk about you going to that 240 area, 235 to 240 area, maybe even higher than that, but we'll see. We'll see. Get above that high, and then we could talk about you going potentially up to like prices that are at $400, man. But I spent a lot of time talking about this one. It definitely required some extra oomph, some extra analysis, in my opinion. I probably didn't go over everything that I should have, but I tried, man. I really tried. It's not an easy one. I feel like I could be wrong on this. Like I really could. Look at that though. 382 support. I mean, I don't. It's hard to say, man. It really is hard to say. And if you break that 240 area, yeah, that's your 618. You get back above there, man. You are going. You're gonna break that 786. You're gonna. It all lines up. But will you go up is the question. I think you will. I think you will. But that's all I got. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to see more. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.